How's it going today, YouTube? Doing outstanding. It's Sunday. Hope you're having a good time with your family. I thought I'd knock out a video today. I had a little time, thankfully. Anyways, it's overcast. It's a little chilly out today, so I will be putting a sweater on. I thought I'd feature this shirt. Me and the old lady, or younger lady rather, my fiance Shannon, her battalion was part of the Bataan Death March in World War II. Now, they do a memorial march every year up there in Brainerd, Minnesota. And this is the 22nd annual memorial march that we did yesterday. It's a 13-mile march, and they have rucking competitions basically to see, you know, if you can take a 50-pound ruck 13 miles. I did not ruck it. I'm a hurting unit just from walking it and running the last mile with her. So we're hurting today. And I had to be able to walk on Monday. Now, I will tell you a little history on the Bataan Death March in case you aren't aware. In April 2nd of 1942, on the Bataan Peninsula in the Filipino islands, I think 76,000 American and Filipino total had surrendered to the Japanese and were forced to make this 65,000-mile march to camp. Let me flip this around because the back is pretty cool. So let's look at the back here. And you know, I'm a big history buff, and you know, I really find it interesting. But you can see this is the Bataan Peninsula. Camp O'Donnell is where they were forced to march, and it's got their, you know, it's got it all mapped out in details on it. Pretty interesting. But yeah, 76,000 U.S. and Filipino troops are forced to march to this Camp O'Donnell. Now, some of them were packed in box cars, like packed in there, right, to be railed up there. But anyways, it says, you know, 500 Americans and nearly 2,500 Filipinos soldiers would not make it to the camp. You know, that's a pretty staggering number that died and perished along that march. And then while at that camp as prisoners of war, you know, 1,500 American soldiers and about 26,000 Filipino soldiers would perish. So pretty intense, pretty insane. They did have one survivor up there that gave a speech that actually is still alive. And yeah, it's just pretty intense, some of the stories. Do your research on it. Really sad. And you know, never forget Bataan, right? So anyways, that's the reason for that. So I'm hurting. My legs are dying. My ankles. I'm still in pretty good shape though. You know, considering my age and whatnot. But nevertheless, I think we made the 13 miles. We did it in like 3 hours and 8 minutes. So we met our goal. We started about 9:08, and I think we finished at about 12:15. So good job, Shannon. Good time. Anyways, getting into this video, AES Wave, those ST3 shielded test leads, and I've got some notes here, guys, just to kind of give you a brief overview of this. Some of you had shown some interest in those, and I wanted to share some information on them before I show you them in action and all that. Length options. Okay, so in the description of this video, I put a link to the AES website. I'm not sponsored by AES Wave by any means, guys. I don't make any money. I'm just sharing, you know, some awesome test leads with you. But the length options, you have AES Wave number 03-70 length options. 4-footers for $27 a piece, 6-footers $29, 9-footers $32, 10-footers $34, 12-footers $36 a piece, and then 15-footers, of course, the ones that I purchased, because I just went with maximum length because, hey, it's awesome, $39 a piece. So not too shabby. Pretty nice test leads. Very nice test leads, by the way, in comparison to the ones I got with my Snap-on Varus, okay? Color options. You have black, which I'm going to order a black one too, I think. So I have that extra ground length. Blue, green, red, and yellow, of course. So very cool. You have lots of options. When you go in there, you'll be able to select your scope, and they'll customize them for your scope. Pretty cool. Some of the features that I thought were interesting, they're shielded from tip to tip. That's cool. You know, so they keep noise immunity, you know, noise down on the leads. They're heat resistant. They're flexible. They're 4mm shrouded. There you have stackable banana plugs. They're small enough to fit under hoods, you know, go through windows when you're going on test drives, so you're not pinching wires. The attenuation is 1.1. Connection to the scope, you can do either BNC, banana plug, and they're double banana, by the way. Very nice. Stackable grounds to allow for stacking your grounds at the scope, but not like a big stack where they're hanging out and you can break them off. You know, they give you this little extension, and I'll show you that, so you can stack them up, and makes it really nice, especially with the Varus. You can hook them to gators, probes, you know, with those bananas, obviously. And then the length difference for your connection to the car, like let's say on the yellow, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, but the length difference on your ground is considerable. I know some of you had mentioned that, and that was a big reason why I went with them as well. So I'm going to put a sweater on because it's actually kind of chilly. It's starting to cool down in Minnesota. We're getting into fall season, which is my favorite time of the year, outside of summer, of course. But nevertheless, let's go look at them. Let me show you them. Let me show you some of the features that I like about them. Just give you kind of an idea of what the colors look like too, because some of you were wondering, like, what's that blue look like? What's that red look like? Well, keep in mind it's overcast today, so it's not real sunny, and they are kind of dirty because I have been using them. So, but in either case, the colors really don't matter, guys. But to you guys that it does matter, at least you'll be able to see. Okay, so let's get into it. I will hook these up to the car. We'll scope out some you know, various waveforms on my Focus just to show you them in action too. Okay, so let's get out to them. All right, guys, so you can see I've got them laid out here in the driveway now. You can see the difference in length here already. I mean, look at the length you get with a 15-footer compared to on the far left there. That's the one that came with my scope. Now you can see this one obviously has been used and abused because she's very dirty. But, you know, the size difference in wear is considerable. These are a lot thinner, which I kind of like because then you can get under stuff and around stuff a little easier. Now, that difference in that length for your connection to the car, let me show you that here. So, this is the problem with these ones that come with the Varus. This length here, I know Paul Danner in his videos always complained about that, is, you know, how am I supposed to get to the battery or, you know, a good ground with that kind of length? I just don't have it. Now, if you look at this, on this yellow one that comes with these, look at the difference in length, guys. I mean, that is considerable. So, very nice feature. Now, I will tell you, since they customized them for my scope, they don't make this one removable, but on these ones they do, and you can take the ground off and use it as an extension for, you know, like say I'm using my yellow only and I need that extra length. I can just take this and plug her right into the back here, and boom, I've got another, what, 2-3 feet. Boom, you know, really cool. I've just got all my alligators on here just for demonstration purposes, but pretty nice. I definitely like this. Again, you know, on this side, now I'll tell you, they do not have double banana on the connection to the car side, but if you needed that, just flip them around, you know, just take this side and hook it to your scope. You can do that. Doesn't matter which way you go with them. So on this side, they just do a single banana, and then they have the double banana on the ground one, which is nice. Okay, now if you look at the other side, which is scope side, for your hookups, you can see they're nice and short, which that's fine, right? And this is where you can stack. Okay, now that's a problem with the Varus, is, you know, you start stacking in your ground side, and then eventually you end up with a ground stack that's, you know, gets really long. Well, that, you know, you can break that off, and you don't want to break that off. So what they do is they provide you with this little, oh, where the heck did I put it? Hold on. All right, guys, so let me show you. So they give you this little extension. This just comes with it, right? And I thought this was really cool. So, like, if I want to stack my test leads, you know, I hook my yellow one in, right? Let's say on channel 1. Then I put this on the back side of that, and now I'm external off the scope. And I can take my green, take my blue, and I could take my red, and boom, I have them stacked, right? I have them stacked up, and I'm only too high on my actual scope, so that's pretty cool. We'll utilize all 4 channels in the example, you know, when I'm pulling waveforms on the car. So let's go out to the car now. Let's hook these things up and let's see how they look. Okay. I think what we'll do is we'll get a cam. Yeah. Well, let's go out to the car, right? All right, guys. I got this jarbled mess set up, but I'll tell you what, this is pretty sweet. You can see I got my custom test light. I finally got those magnets put on there. And right now I'm tapped into the high beam. Okay, but what I want to show you is okay, so I'm scoped out. Basically, I'm scoping out the signal, the ground, and the 5-volt reference on this cam sensor for the intake cam. So yellow, green, and blue are the cam sensor. Hooked to the cam sensor, okay? Now this red one, I'm actually using my amp clamp, and I'm measuring the amperage on the high beam, which is going to be about 5.2 amps it's measuring right now. But what I've done is I've actually taken my red scope lead, okay, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't adapt this in because, you know, of course it's got the single banana, right? Well, just flip them around, right? So the negative side of my amp clamp is hooked to this, you know, the red side there's, and then I just went, you know, the positive side of my amp clamp to the ground, and then I just flipped them on the scope. That's the beauty of these leads. So I'm actually measuring amperage. You can see I've got all the test leads grounded together. They're all stacked here, right? All stacked up nice and neat. This is the ground for my test light, and I could have grounded that to that, but you know, I didn't want to put it in with the scope signal. Nevertheless, I think it's pretty neat. What I buy, you know, a nice thing too is I've got these D clips on here, so I'm actually utilizing that as a kind of like a scope lead management, whatever. And you know, it's kind of messy, but it is what it is. Off the engine. You can buy these Velcro Zip Ties, which are nice. I put one on each test lead, and then you can kind of just manage your cables up so that, you know, if you're testing, you know, and I've got this on here, guys. I don't do that on a customer's car. This is my car, so whatever. I just got that, you know, so my scope don't die during this. But, you know, open up your door all the way. You can see the leads are nice and neat. And then, you know, if I want to shut the door, I can shut the door. I've just got the window cracked and whatnot, right? Okay, so let me cover my back window because I think the glare is going to be an issue. All right, I think I got this this glare somewhat managed so you guys can see. Hopefully you can see that. My freaking neighbors probably think I'm crazy. I got the damn car out here. It looks like it's in the intensive care unit, you know, sitting in ICU with all these scope leads hooked up. So you can see the yellow trace there is my cam signal, you know, the waveform for the cam sensor signal. The green traces are ground for the cam sensor, and then the blue traces are 5-volt reference. And then there, right there on our 20 amp scale, you know, we're on a 20 amp low amp probe on that test light that I've got hooked up on the 5.2 amp draw that has. So overall, guys, I'm pretty impressed with these leads. I mean, nice clean signals. You can see it's really nice. Let me pause this once. All right, so I've got it paused. We'll throw some cursors up and just kind of look at, you know, I'm just dicking around, really, to be honest with you today, guys. I just wanted to show you guys this. You know, it is what it is. So let's get a peak in a valley on there. What is cursor one on the valley? So, you know, we're down to 0.2, you know, 200 millivolts on our lows for that cam sensor signal, and then our high is 4.63. So, you know, it's, you know, it is what it is. But
I thought it was pretty cool. So if any of you are wondering, 2012 Ford Focus, there's a intake cam sensor signal. You know, pretty clean signals. I'm very impressed with these leads. I've got, you know, the wires all managed up. Like I said, it's nice because I can open the door all the way. I'm in the shop, you know, everything's managed up. I'm not worried about test leads getting in the way, laying everywhere. That's what I was always running into. So I know this video is getting a little long now, but anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Let's wrap this up. I'll give you one more shot of outside. Oh, you know what? While we're here, let me hook up that low side on my test light just to show you. That's the other cool thing. You know, I wish it was nighttime. You'd see how bright that light is. It lights up under the hood. It works as an underhood light too, which is really cool, because if I was working in the dark, I could just use it as a light. Doesn't get real hot in that box because it's, you know, one of them incandescent or LED, whatever you want to call it, bulbs in glass, so it doesn't get real hot. That's what I like about it. Let me go hook up the low beam and we'll look at that amp draw. I think it's about 2.6 amps. It's all pretty easy to switch it over. Hopefully my camera stays. Now we're just going to switch this over to the low beam. Again, I haven't labeled these yet, and there are some improvements I need to make to this test light, I'm noticing, but there you go. We're hooked up. And you can see our low beam is on now. And obviously you could flip that around, you know, hang it however you want, but it would light this whole area up. Pretty cool. So let's take a look and see what we're drawing for amps on that now. 2.5 amps. So there you go. Pretty cool. So again, hooked up to ICU. My poor Ford. Neighbors think I'm nuts. I got blankets all over to cut down on glare.
All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up right there. I hope you liked the review. Very cool test leads from AES Wave. Love them. Get yourself some. Any length you want, 4 foot all the way up to 15 foot. They are awesome. You can do so much with them. Hope you guys like that. I'm going to be doing some more videos on the Focus today. I'm actually planning on making a cheat sheet for scope setup for different tests because I'm sick and tired of trying to remember it in this ticker here because it's impossible for me to remember everything. So, anyways, hope you guys liked it. Thanks for watching. Take care, all right?